Hey guys, Samir here from PSR, bringing you another video on my Honda Civic. In this video, we're going to talk about all the progress that's been made since the last video, what we've learned, what's happened, and what's going to happen going forward regarding my car. So, yeah, I'm wearing a jacket because that's how Moscow, Idaho works. It gets cold before you know it, and it might fluctuate back to being a little warm again, but it'll probably stay cold. Anyway, it's fair warning, it's pretty windy outside from when I was last out there, and so I might not try to speak too much when I actually go out to see the car, but I will talk somewhere else where it's less windy afterwards. Yeah, so it's pretty windy. I'm hoping you guys can hear me just fine. I'm trying to stand with the camera up against me so you hear as little of it as possible, but I just basically wanted to show that the car's been sitting here, and just wanted to show you that there's a lot of tuck going on back here, obviously because the spare tire's on, but it looks so great. It looks really good. It's got a good amount of camber, not too much. But yeah, obviously this isn't how I want to run it in general, just a little too much for me. Oh, what's this here? Is this a new car? No, it's just a rental car. So I know some of you got scared there for a second, or maybe not, because the title already told you what was going on. But yeah, this is my rental car, and we'll get into more of it here soon. We're gonna go to a place that's not so windy. But yeah, oh, of course. Here we go. I gotta say, it's not the most impressive thing in the world. Definitely nothing special. In fact, if it didn't have this auxiliary cord, I would lose my mind. Well, it didn't come with this auxiliary cord, I meant to say. If it didn't have this auxiliary port, then I would lose my mind. But I mean, in terms of technology, it doesn't have anything that my Civic doesn't have. The most advanced thing in this car is that it has an aux port, and I guess it has a USB port as well. And then, yeah, that's about it. Otherwise, at least it's got power options, power windows, power mirrors. But yeah, like I said, nothing crazy. It's a 2017 Nissan Versa, and we'll definitely get more into it here soon. But I'm just gonna go ahead and drive to somewhere that's. Oh. Yeah, that's my radar detector from before. Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go somewhere that's more encompassed, so that the wind doesn't just constantly go by and just irritate the hell out of me. So I'll see you guys in a sec. Alright guys, I'm here. This is an old abandoned loading dock. It might look familiar. We've taken photos here before, and with these two walls on the side, it should stop the wind mostly. I'm sure it still might be a little bit of a nuisance, but please try to ignore that, and if it's so bad, I'll just cut those portions out of the video. Anyway, I'm recording this on Saturday, September 30th, exactly 1 week from the accident, and believe it or not, a lot has happened this week. This has been a very productive week. So let's go over it. So I made the last video, I recorded it on Monday, the 25th, so 5 days ago now. As I mentioned in that video, I went ahead and got a pre-estimate, basically, for the car, just to satisfy my own curiosity. And it turned out that the shop I took it to, the shop I always take my car to, is affiliated directly with the other driver's insurance company. So he said, oh, I could just take down an official estimate right now, which is nice because that saves me time in the long run. So he went ahead and gave me the estimate, called me back the next day, and it turns out it's going to be a little over $2,600 to fix the car, to fully repair it. And I can say that's probably in the range that I expected it to be. I expected anywhere from $2,000 to $2,800, $3,000, something like that. So it basically landed dead smack in the middle. And can't say I'm happy with that amount. Of course, it's all going to have to do with what they value the car at. I mean, if they value it at $3,500, then great. If they value it at $1,800, then not so great. So really, we'll just have to wait and see with that part. Anyway, the day after I made the last video, on Tuesday, I got a phone call from the other driver's insurance asking for my recorded statement, which I was of course expecting. I gave my statement, and afterwards they informed me that the other driver disputed my claim, and in fact filed a different claim stating that I was the one liable for the accident. And I just assumed it was for the reasons he had mentioned when I was speaking to him right after the accident. Oh, you were speeding. I had right of way. Blah blah blah. All BS basically, which you'll soon come to understand. Anyway, then they told me that I could speed the process along by getting a police report, which I of course immediately filled out the form for, and then I got it the next day, which was Thursday of this past week. And I got it in no time, which was great, because it could have taken up to 3 business days, but I got it the quickest possible turnaround time I could have. I thoroughly reviewed the police report myself, and it didn't look good for the other driver. I mean, I don't have the police report in front of me, so I can't perfectly quote everything, but just to give you a few tidbits. 1, the other driver was cited. He did get a ticket, in fact, for failing to yield, and I had the right of way. That was one thing. 2, the police officer noted the other driver's camera footage from his windshield dash cam, whatever, and he said that in the video he saw that the pickup truck in front of me passed him, and as soon as it did, he went forward and hit me. So that means I couldn't have been more than 50, 100 feet behind the truck. He hit me immediately after the truck passed him. So, yeah. The police report is not in his favor whatsoever. And I knew as soon as the insurance company got a hold of it, stuff would be on my side. On another note, the gas station, which the accident occurred in front of, had security footage, which was taking time to obtain because the employees who actually work there don't have access to the footage, and instead they have to get permission from their corporate headquarters to release that information, which was no problem. The insurance company was going to be able to do that, but I really wanted to just get this whole thing done before the weekend if possible. So, like I said, I got the police report, I scanned it onto my computer, emailed it to them immediately, and of course at this point it was after business hours, but I knew they would get it right in the morning. The next morning, which was yesterday, Friday, I was so impatient I just called them myself to verify if the email had arrived and if they had received the attachment. Indeed they had, and the employee I was dealing with went right ahead and reviewed the police report. And just to cut it short, after he and both his manager for the next 15 minutes reviewed the police report, they came to the quick conclusion that their driver is fully liable for the entire thing, and I'm no way at fault. And that made my week. I was at no point happier than at that moment right then. He was like, "Oh yeah, so sorry this whole thing had happened. I'm so sorry he disputed your claim because you were clearly in the right. There's very little disputing this. So sorry for wasting your time. It could have been resolved sooner, etc., etc." And he just said, "All right, we're gonna take care of your repairs." They sent the invoice over to the shop, which I already got an estimate at, so I'm just waiting for the shop to get in contact with me. That'll probably happen on Monday. And then he said, "All right, let me get you hooked up with a rental car as well." Hence this. And they're basically being unbelievably helpful in all of this. Insurance companies aren't great. The whole concept of insurance makes sense, but it's just the practice and the execution of it all is sort of iffy, especially to me. So I'm just glad this whole thing is going really well. So here's the car. So as I already said, it's a 2017 Nissan Versa, and it's not anything too incredible. It doesn't look great. It's new though, so at least it's in really good condition, and it's not embarrassing to drive around. I wouldn't call it embarrassing, but it's pretty low tech. As I said, it doesn't have anything that makes it more technologically advanced than my Civic, aside from the fact that it has a CVT, but that's not an upgrade, so that's a downgrade. But at least it's fuel efficient, it's comfortable. It has really soft suspension. It's a little iffy. I don't know if it's just because I'm used to coilovers and driving around in this makes it feel like a boat, but yeah, that's basically the thing. It's got no fog lights. It doesn't have alloys. It's just generally unimpressive. But like I said, it's a car. It can get me from point A to point B right now. And I'm thankful about that, especially since it's free. I'm not having to pay for this car whatsoever. It's completely mine. And it has everything I need. It has the aux port so I can listen to my music. It's slow. It's got a 1.6 liter, making 109 horsepower. That's not anything, but it's yeah, it's still nice. I'm just glad I have it, and I'm not the one paying for it. So this is all a good sign, you know, right here. Obviously, you know, I'm not liable, and they have determined that from the police report and all the other evidence, and so here we are. So where do we go from here? Really, the last major step is just either getting a reevaluated estimate according to the specifications of the other insurance company, but as soon as they get that estimate going, they'll determine whether or not it's totaled. If it's not totaled, they'll give me an exact date of when it'll be completed, when it'll be fully repaired and given back to me. And if it is totaled, we'll go from there. If it doesn't end up being totaled, then the answer's simple. They'll fix it, I'll get it back, and I'll get on with my life as though this never happened. That's really my preferred option, of course. I really don't want to see it totaled. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. We'll just wait and see what happens. So make sure you pay attention to the team's Instagram page, which is always linked in the description. My personal page, which is PSR_EJ6. I'm constantly posting anytime I hear anything, so you'll definitely get a lot of information by following on either page, or both pages, in fact. The next step, like I said, is just going to be waiting for the shop. So we'll see what the shop says in regard to the car, if it's totaled or not. One thing I can say for sure is that if the car does end up getting totaled, I'm going to do one last final walk around of the car, you know, talk about the car, show off the modifications, one last time, because it's been over a year since the last official walk around, on YouTube at least. So yeah, but like I said, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's just hope that the car's fully fixable, and I mean, of course it's fixable, but let's just hope it's not totaled, and then I can move on with my life. Anyway, guys, again, wish me luck, and wish me luck again for having to drive this car around. It's amazing how similar it is to my car. You know, engine size, horsepower output, you know, front wheel drive, the same kinds of technology, etc. But it's still not my car. It's not the same.